Welcome back to episode 6 of Built Not Motivated. Once again, I'm your host, Keefe Williams. I lost 55 pounds putting in a system and following the structured system and getting the results that I needed. I didn't rely on motivation to carry me through the process. And today we are going to talk about the scale, the weight scale, right? The thing that everybody dreads hopping on and seeing that number and going, oh, damn, we're there. We're there again. We're back. So basically, this is just going to be a little quicker of an episode. I just want to give a little rundown on the benefits of the scale and maybe why you shouldn't rely on the scale and things that can throw off the number on the scale, right? So the first thing is that when you hop on a scale, it can mess with your head, right? You can get discouraged by seeing the number. And initially when I had started, like I said, about a year ago, I was 209, right? And for me, that was a big number. I was getting stronger at that time, and then I kind of got down to 202, from 209 to 202, and I was getting stronger, but it just the fat wasn't really going away, it didn't seem. And it was a slow process. Like, that took me 4 months. And seeing that number 209 and to 202, it was good. I was okay with that for a minute, and then I realized, this isn't really going fast enough, right? Like, I don't have the strength that I probably should have at 209 or 202, and I definitely didn't have the energy and the heart health. So when I saw those numbers, I got discouraged, but I also realized I needed to do something a little more than what I was doing, because basically what I was doing was a recomp. And for those of you who don't know what a recomp is, it's when you're losing fat and gaining muscle at the same time, so your weight is staying pretty close to the same. And the problem I had doing that was that it was too slow. Like I said, that's about 2 pounds in a month. When I got really going, I was losing 3 pounds in a week. So, I mean, obviously those are huge differences. That's an extra 10 pounds over a 4 week or a month span, right? And when I was stepping on the scale, we had a smart scale, and I don't know if it was 100% accurate. I'll say that. It was good for weight. Like, I knew the weight was there. But measuring like body fat percentage, I'm not 100% sure it was correct, but like I was mid 20s. I think that's about as high as I had gotten, maybe almost 30. I can't quite remember, but seeing those things, it kind of messes with your head. And the biggest problem I have with the scale is that it measures weight. It doesn't measure fat unless you have those smart scales. But like I said, I don't know if they're 100% accurate. And you kind of get an emotional attachment to the number that you see. And I originally did not think that I had 30 pounds to lose. Like, if you told me I had 30 pounds to lose at 202 to get down to 172, I'd be like, I would be skin and bone. Absolutely not. I got down 30 pounds, and apparently I still had another 25 to lose. And when I got down to 50 pounds, I was like, okay, what's 5 more pounds? Let's see what I can go. And I didn't need to go that extra further, a little amount. Like, I would have been good at like 165, but I decided to do an extra 10 pounds to get down to the 155-ish mark, right? I got emotionally attached, and I was consistently looking for that number. I was fighting harder, and I wasn't maybe drinking enough water at times just because I wanted to see the scale drop down. And that'll mentally mess you up so bad. I didn't need to do that. I was in the best shape of my life in, I think it was October, November, whenever it was. I was in the best shape of my life, and I just wanted to continually see that number go down. Well, that's unreasonable, right? And now that I've started my bulk, I now there are some other things that have played into this right now, with me being sick, and I'm finally getting back into things. I'm sitting at about 166, but I was at 172 about a month ago or so. A lot of that was water weight, and I had been eating too many sweets. I was sick. I was on vacation. I wasn't tracking my stuff properly. I was going up in weight, but I wasn't doing it the right way, and I wasn't doing my cardio. But seeing that 172, I was like, God dang it. Like, I know I shouldn't complain, but like, that's jumping up way too quick. And then luckily, I was able to get in the back of the swing of things. I started running again, as most people who watch this have seen. And then I was able to get back to my base. I think I'm level now. I'm gaining muscle. I'm getting way stronger. My endurance is back. My heart rate has dropped again. My VO2 max is up. Like, all these things are coming back, right? And those things combined will benefit you more than just seeing some stupid ass number on a scale, right? But the 166 that I'm at now, 166 that I'm at now, like, that's probably like my base. So now that I see that number, I can keep upping my calories. And the more the scale goes up, and if I continue to look the same, as far as like my belly goes, and I start to see my arms get a little bigger and my chest get a little bigger and my legs get a little bigger. Like, when I see that number go up on the scale, like, that's a good sign. That is a phenomenal sign. But if I were to dehydrate myself and go for, another 10-mile run or whatever and dehydrate myself, well, I'm probably going to lose 5 pounds. Is that healthy? Absolutely not. So when you see that number on the scale, that really messes with your head. And if you go about it the right way, that number on the scale will help you. But if you go about it the wrong way, that scale is either just going to discourage you, or it's going to get you in trouble. You're not going to be going about it like the most healthy way that you possibly could. If I eat a bunch of whole foods today and tomorrow I hop on the scale and I'm up 2 pounds, okay, cool. If today I eat a bunch of processed foods and tomorrow the scale goes down, it's probably not good. Even though I've eaten the same amount of calories, like, when you see that number on the scale, it can really mess with you if you're not going about it the right way. So a kind of good thing, bad thing is, if you see the number on the scale and you think it's a good number, awesome. You're feeling good. You're ready to go, hammer the day, right? You're ready to get after it. Perfect. You see a bad number on the scale. Say it's gone down when you're in a book. Say it goes up when you're in a cut. You kind of get discouraged, and you might not make healthy choices throughout the day just to hit that number. If you're bulking and the number goes down, well, don't just go slam a whole large Domino's pizza. If you're cutting and the number goes up, don't dehydrate yourself. That's a mental game that you kind of have to ride the wave. Fluctuations are normal. There was a week where I was at 100 or 1,800 calories on the dot. No more, no less, every single day. I ate the exact same thing for 7 days straight, Tuesday to Monday. Tuesday rolled around. I gained 2 pounds. Why? I don't friggin' know. I drank my water. I did my 100 plus minutes of cardio. I wasn't stressed. I got proper sleep. I had a normal week, I worked about half of the time. I think I worked Wednesday. No, how'd it go? I worked, yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for that week. And I had Sunday, Monday off. So about half, a little over half I worked. Um, and I don't know what it was. Like, it just, I don't know if honestly, I don't even have an answer. Like, I don't even have a guess. Because I was eating whole foods, I was eating properly, I was doing exactly what I needed, but for some reason that scale didn't move, and that's fine. You got to ride the wave. So that kind of gets me to my next point is a correct use of the scale. Now, what I personally do is I weigh myself every single morning. I wake up, I move for about a half an hour, about 15 minutes to a half an hour before I hop on the scale. I make sure that I go to the bathroom. I don't eat anything. I don't drink anything. I just kind of get up a little bit, kind of, wake up from the night, from sleeping. And it's usually about the same time in the morning, 7-ish, 7:30 in the morning. And I track my 7-day average from, so my workout routine starts Tuesday, it ends Monday. That's just how I like it. Don't ask me why. I don't know. And I think it's because I keep that accountability through the weekend, and then I give myself an extra day during the week to kind of dial it in again if, something might happen in the weekend, but that doesn't matter right now. I take that 7-day average. So if I'm 166 first 3 days, I'm 167 the next day, I'm 168 the next 3 days, well, then obviously my average is 167 for the week. Yes, I was as low as 166. Yes, I was as high as 168. There's so many factors that play into your weight in a week, but you take that daily average, and that's your weight. You can do it for 7 days, and you can do it for 14 days. You can do it for 10 days. But I would say a minimum of 7, a maximum of 14, right? And you want to keep your weigh-ins consistent, like I talk about. You want to do it before you eat anything, so fasted. You want to do it after you go to the bathroom, and you want to do it within an hour of the same time every day. You don't want to wait until after you eat breakfast, because then your numbers will be off. You don't want to slam a bunch of water because your numbers will be off. And then you can also pair it with the number on the scale. You can pair that with how your clothes fit, your measurements, your energy, obviously strength. So if your number is going up but you're getting stronger, okay, that's good. Just depends on what your goals are. If you're losing a bunch of weight and your strength is going down, that's normal. That happens in a cut, right? These are all things that are normal and that they're gonna happen. Nothing's ever perfect. There's not a perfect way to use the scale, but this way is, and being consistent is probably the best that you're gonna get, right? Being consistent, having the same conditions every single day, every single week. If you want to do it every Sunday, every Wednesday, whatever, that's fine. You can do that. It helps dial it in a little bit better once you find a number that you're more comfortable with and that you want to start working from. Then you can start doing it every day. But if you're a beginner, you don't want to probably use the scale. That is one problem that I had, and that's because I was chasing a number. I didn't even know what the number was. I just knew it had to be lower, and the lower it went, the better I felt. Obviously, I was getting weaker, but obviously that happens. Another time to ignore the scale is if you kind of fall out of it and then you get back into lifting. Well, you're probably drinking more water, you're eating more food, so you may not be in the best physical shape at this time, and you're going to see the scale move up, because you're getting more food, therefore you're having more energy. Your body is holding in more water. Your muscles are holding more water, and you're probably drinking more creatine. I hope. I recommend everybody drinks creatine. Obviously, that holds water in your muscles way more than not taking creatine, obviously. And then if you are in a recomp stage, like I'd mentioned, or if you're not getting enough sleep, or if you're stressed, if you're under a lot of stress, your body holds a lot of water, and it does hold a lot of weight, excess, weight from, you could be bloated or, what have you. But stress and sleep are the two big ones. Like if you have an absolute shit week and you're not tracking stuff perfectly, you don't have like a specific goal in mind, but you want to see that number go down, I wouldn't recommend hopping on the scale, because that number is going to diminish your progress mentally. You might fall out of things, and it's a mental game at that point. And I I'll save this for another podcast, is just mentality. But that could really screw with your mentality for sure, because you're chasing a number that you don't, either you have in your mind and for some reason you're going the opposite direction, or you just don't have a number in mind and you just want to see it drop lower, right? And let's see here. The scale isn't a real scorecard. I think that's how I want to put that. Because when you look at the scale and you see the number go up, it can be discouraging. But you have to think to yourself, one, did you train? Yes, you trained. Did you hit your protein? Yes, you hit your protein. Did you recover properly? Yes, you're recovering properly. You can't let those three good things be, no pun intended, outweighed by the weight on the scale. You're doing the things properly. You're doing the things right. You're sticking to your plan. You hit three main goals, and those are my main three goals, is training, protein, and recovery, right? To go in with recovery, it's obviously sleep and no stress, because when you have good sleep and low stress, you recover so much better. So when you have those things really dialed in and you hit those things week on week, the number on the scale shouldn't matter. And to kind of go back to it, if you have a certain number that you want to hit, well, you need to have enough protein in your diet to make sure you're not losing muscle and that you're actually losing fat. And you're drinking enough water. Your body wants to hold on to water. It's good for it to hold on to water because that helps you recover. That number on the scale can piss off, and what you need to focus on is a body fat percentage. And you need to look at how your clothes fit, and you need to look at, basically your overall health. Can you walk up a flight of stairs without getting out of breath? Do you find yourself going to the closet, going to the basement, and picking out old clothes that didn't fit you before? This was huge for me. I had a pair of pants that I bought that they fit one week, they didn't fit the next week, and I kept on to those for 5 years. 5 years. And now they fit. They're actually a little big, and they're a little loose to where I can, I'm not gonna go into that, but they are loose, and frankly, I do need a smaller belt. Even though I'm going up, I still need a smaller belt because my waist is about the same, right? And this goes with cutting and bulking. I'm in the bulking stage because so now I can kind of start talking about my experiences on that. My clothes are getting tighter. Is that a bad thing? Absolutely not. Am I going to find myself putting back clothes that I just got out? Yes. And that's fine because it's a roller coaster. It's going to fluctuate, right? And the biggest thing that I just want you guys to get out of this is don't rely on the number on the scale. Yes, it's a tool when used properly. We hit on that. But it can also discourage you if you're not going about it in a healthy way or you're not using it as a proper resource to benefit you in the long run. Obviously there's eating disorders, just because people want to see a number on a scale. Say you're 160 and you want to be to 145, throwing up and starving yourself is obviously not healthy. I'm not going to, I don't have experience with that. I personally don't know anybody who's talked to me about that, so I'm not going to, dive into that at all. But obviously that is something that we have seen in the public eye before, is that people are chasing a number or they're chasing just to be skinny when you're going to weigh more if you're healthier, right? Obviously there's a gray area to that. If you're super big or if you're super skinny, you kind of have to, find that middle ground, right? So yeah, I mean, I look at the scale every day, and that's because I use it as a tool and I use it properly. And if you have a number, great. Try to get that number. But make sure that you're focusing on the body fat percentage and not the weight of the scale, right? Because we all know BMI is garbage. Like, what's his name? Edge rusher for the St. Louis Rams, Darnold. What's his first name? Is it Darnold? Yeah, yeah. Well, he's obese. Well, that dude's a shit brick house who could screw anybody up, right? He is jacked, he's chiseled, and according to his BMI, he's obese, right? Obviously, he's not obese. He is a specimen, right? So those are just kind of things like it's not black and white. So, in conclusion, don't chase a number. Chase how you feel, and the better that you feel, the number will come with that, right? But that's not important. The size of your clothes, if they're looser, obviously you may feel a little better, you may have a little bit more energy. The number on the scale doesn't matter day to day. So take that average if you're gonna do it. If you're gonna chase a number, be smart about it, and make sure you chase that body fat percent and not the weight, because when you're chasing body fat percent, the muscle can go up, your weight's going to go up, right? So that's what I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to episode 6. I got to get rolling, so it's Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you in episode 7.